like to start this video off by saying I like this approach much better to it. You don't always have to put religion into your videos or try to disprove something to get a point across or make a real good video. So I like this is way better for me. I've seen a lot in the comment section that a lot of more people like this. So let's get into this. You gotta ask yourself first, like, are materialists really happy? I mean, they surround themselves with all these things that a little bit down the road they're not going to use anymore. They're not going to want these. Like, here, I'll use an example. I've got this that I got when I was a kid, and I played the shit out of it. Like, I played that game, Pokemon Stadium, like, a lot. I don't know any kid that I knew growing up that didn't growing up in the Pokemon era. But now it just collects dust on a shelf. I mean, down the road you're not going to want any of these things. Like a car, you're going to like a vehicle, you're going to want something that's reliable, something that's going to last a long time, because like in this day and age you need one, unless you live in a city where you can walk to what you need to do. But you can't, like, even what else could I use for example? Game Boys. Like, they're making new Game Boys every fucking year now. Like, you have these old ones here that you don't use anymore because they got new games coming out. As you age, you want different things, you want different stuff out of life. Alright, moving on to doctors. The doctors. I'm going to call this little segment the doctor's dresser. Now, what you said about the medical field is true. A lot of it is just sitting in a dorm room with a bed and a dresser. And like you said, all your belongings better fit into this dresser, or you're in a lot of trouble. You're going to have one unhappy roommate. But the medical field, you got to remember, is a lot of hard work. It's not a cakewalk. You have to deal with a lot of the realities of life. It may take away from some of the family time, and I say some, I'm like underline some, but it opens you up to a lot more possibilities and realities in the world. First, you have to have the intellect and social skills to become a doctor, like mostly any kind of doctor, like a medical doctor. Like years ago, they hired all these people that were doing great, like really good in the academic aspect, but then they had no fucking people skills, and they didn't work well with people. They just made shitty doctors. They just knew, I don't want to say they knew what they're doing, like they did, but you get my point anyway. So you got to have both. You can't just have one and not the other, because if you have great people skills and like a 2.0 grade average, med school's just gonna be like, well, this person sucks. Now back to the Altima / Maxima theory. It will take away from family, like putting work in to do something that takes a long time in schooling, such as the medical field. But like I said earlier, and I'm returning to, it opens you up to a lot. Take two. Okay, now back to the Ultima / Maxima part of the video. I'm getting back to the medical field and what it takes away from. It does take away from the family aspect, not as much as you think it does. But I have 3 daughters in the family. But it will open doors to other realities like life and death. It will change your perception of fair and unfair. The medical field is by no means a cakewalk, like I said before. You gotta have the perseverance to get through this, because you're gonna be dealing with people dying. It's not all about saving lives. Someone's gonna die somewhere along the line on you, no matter how good of a doctor you are. So I think that individuals that have chosen to be doctors, they deserve what they have. That's just my thoughts. All right, part 3 is gonna deal with a little bit more of a personal level. Brock, you got a very musical mind. From the opening quote on your page, it says you like to use music as your way to open people's minds and stuff. So I'm gonna have a go at that, opening your mind. Let's see. I'm going to put a link right here to a song called Time Stands Still by Rush. It's a very good song, and I promise you that it will hit home with the point you're trying to make, the point that I, for once, agree with you upon. So, you can take that to the bank.